Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we're a couple brothers from the GMS Atlanta Church coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, is edifying to the flock. First and foremost, as always, we want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well in the scriptures. And thirdly, peace, love, and salutation to you, Aki, that's pushing this truth and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Aina.
I'm the brother Zakaria.
And we're going to get into these tribes, man. These tribes of Central and South America. The tribe of Zebulon, all right, the tribe of Asher, and the tribe of Naphtali, all right, because we have to know who our people are in these last days. We can't be at camp, you know what I'm saying, trying to preach, trying to talk about we're the Hebrew Israelites, and we don't know how to break down these tribes, especially these South America, so-called Central and South American tribes. And if you live in a big city, hell, if you live in a small city, you might see some of these tribes, man. So you'd have to be able to identify who these people are according to biblical prophecy. So we're going to start off in Jeremiah 50 and 33. If the brother didn't have nothing to say, we'll start off in Jeremiah 50 and 33.
This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. It reads, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go."
And that's got to be talking about the last days, man. All right, because according to 2nd Ezra's 13th chapter, the northern kingdom came over during the Assyrian captivity. All right, they came over here to the shores of America, Arsareth, and the southern kingdom, they were back in Israel, man. So this is applying to today. All right, the northern tribe and the southern tribe are North, Central, and South America, mainly here in America, but you got North, Central, and South America where we're oppressed together as a whole. Okay. So you got anything else on that?
This verse 34, "Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name." And that just lets you know we have the same Redeemer, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, right?
Yeah.
Because he has the chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel, man.
That's right.
Okay, and we also going into some of these tribes, in this lesson. Okay. Continuing on, it reads, "He shall thoroughly he shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon."
All right, because the Lord is going to destroy Babylon the Great, man. And he's hearing our sighing and crying. Okay. And we'll also bring this to bring out edification to these people, these tribes, to let you know who you are. You're not known by your proverb and byword. Okay. So we're going to go to Genesis 49 and 1, and we'll start off from there.
This is Genesis 49 and verse 1. It reads, "And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I might tell you that which shall befall you in the last days." And we already know what he was doing was gathering all his sons together and telling them what's about to happen in the last days, as we just read, right? According to prophecy.
Right.
Okay. Continuing on, verse 2. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
Yeah, so these breakdowns of these tribes, it affects what's going to happen befall them in the last days, okay? Because like we mentioned, if you go back to 2nd Ezra 13, it talks about the northern kingdom coming over to Arsareth. So it lets you know who the 12 tribes of Israel are, man, okay? So we're going to go on to the tribe of Zebulon, all right, which represents you so-called Guatemalans to you so-called Panamanians, okay? And that word in the Hebrew is Zabalawan, which means dwelling. And we're going to, through the scriptures, prove to you who they are, man.
This is Genesis 49, jumping all the way down to verse 13. It reads, "Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon."
All right. So we're going to go and, damn, I messed that up, but we're going to go to Genesis 49, and we're going to break it down, man, to the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so we just going to play it on the screen. Genesis 49. Just read it again out.
This is Genesis 49 and verse 13. "Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
All right, so Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea. Now, you get that word haven in the blue letter. That's why the apostles and elders tell it's important to look up these words in the Hebrew, in the Greek, just different definitions. All right. So that word haven goes into the word is H2348, which is kawap. It's kawap. And it says seashore, coast, shore. Now, we had a map.
You about to go to the ancient Israel? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to go to the map of the 12 tribes of Israel before they split up. Now, Zebulon in this map, all right, they're landlocked between Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. All right, so it lets you know that this is we fall the tribe of Zebulon in the last days. They would be by the seashore or the sea coast. Okay, so it didn't happen during the time of King David and King Solomon. Okay, before we split up. So this is not talking about back in the day. It's talking about these last days that we're in right now.
Then can you go back to the map of Bakushai?
Yeah.
Because we just read it said haven of ships. Okay. Now if you look right here, you can't bring ships in the middle of the land.
Right.
So you know it's talking about in today's time.
Exactly. Good point, bro.
According to prophecy.
Yeah.
All right. Now this the sea right here, this the shore, but Zebulon, back in the ancient world was in the middle, was located in the middle right here. So you can't bring ships in the middle of the land.
Yeah.
So it's talking about, future prophecy,
which
we're about to get into.
And then you got Tyre and Zidon, which is on the coast, but also that's twofold because Tyre and Zidon, that goes into King Hiram, sending those Hamites over there to the shores of Central and South America. I think it's like First Kings, the 9th chapter, where King Solomon commissioned them to go over, and they would get like apes and peacocks and gold. So
you got the Olmecs.
Yeah,
figures.
And we're gonna say this: these are not Israelites, man. Okay, these are Hamites, those filthy, stinking Hamites of the other nations, man. These are Olmecs. Jake be like, these are our people. No, they're not. Okay, Olmecs. Those are those Hamites that came over here during the time of Solomon on the conquest to just get stuff from the Americas, man.
And then me and the brother was chopping it up, before the camera started rolling or whatnot. Man, if that was us, we would have had more salt on that thing, man.
Yeah.
It would have been, you know how Jake like to do art.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
You got these big ass nostrils taking up all the air, man. You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna get back into it, man. Okay. All right. Genesis 49 and read that one more time out.
This is Genesis 49 and verse 13. It reads, Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
All right, so we're going to read this. It says Panama from the Wikipedia. It says, officially, the Republic of Panama is a transcontinental country in Central America and South America, bordered by Costa Rica to the west, Colombia to the southeast, and the Caribbean Sea to the north, and the Pacific Ocean to the south. Its capital and largest city is Panama City, whose metropolitan area is home to nearly half the country's 4 million people. Now, when you go to the anthem of Panama, it gives you himno et isthmio, which means hymn of the isthmus. Now, that word isthmus goes into a narrow strip of land with sea on either side, forming a link between two areas of land. Now we got a map of it, and this is where Panama is at. Okay, that's the isthmus. Okay, you got the land of the Caribbean Sea that links up to the Atlantic Ocean, and you got the Panama Canal, because during the time of the conquistadors, those Edomites, they were looking for a way to go around. They were going all the way. They were coming from the old world, so to speak, to the so-called new world. They were coming down Brazil. Or they were coming from the Horn of Africa, and they had to go around Argentina and come all the way back up to hit the Americas. So in 1914, as we're going to get into, the Panama Canal the Panama Canal is an artificial 51-mile waterway in Panama that connects the Atlantic Ocean with the Pacific Ocean and divides North and South America. So that's the Panama Canal. Yahweh Shem Shai put that on the spirit of the heathens to create the Panama Canal to fulfill biblical prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was originated, it says, August 15th, 1914.
Yep.
Now, we just had a class on this lesson, and as we went into, there was a lot of casualties involved in this. It was a lot of Benjamites, just like Jacob period. It was
I think it was like, what, 27,000
Yep,
people.
exactly.
Actually, it was 27,000 people who passed away, man.
Yeah.
All right, during that time, because it was a lot going on. It was a lot of, building and people falling and people drowning.
Yeah.
And, those conquistadors, quote unquote, all right, they was giving Jake hell, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Esau Edom was giving Jake hell, as usual.
Yeah.
know.
So that's basically it for Zebulon. That lets you know where the indigenous people from Guatemala to Panama are at. And we got a lot of tabs on here, so just bear with us. We just find that map again. Now, there's 7 countries in Central America. Okay, you see them: Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. All right, and I believe you got Honduras in there. If I didn't say it.
Kind of, yeah.
So those that's Central America, all right? Because like we're doing this lesson because Issachar, he is hired. That's easy to break down. So-called Mexicans, but we tend to forget about the brothers and sisters down there in Central and South America. Because hey, look, you can tell the difference between Issachar and Zebulon, okay? And once you start to talk to these people, you got to learn your people, man. If you live in some of these cities, you go to some of these restaurants, some of these shopping areas where they located, you can kind of get a feel for the people, man. Our people are peaceful, but dealing with the devil, they come into that devilish-like spirit, the spirit of robbing, killing, and stealing. But, you got to get to know your people, man, and we just come in here, to edify our people about who Zebulon is, man. And we also got some pictures of let me see. We got some pictures of the La Polera, which is a dress of these Native women. And as you can see, this woman got fringes on the end of her dress, man. You don't see that? You Israelite camps are harping on fringes. This woman got fringes. This is an ancient dress of the Zebulonite woman, man. All right. And on the male side, we got the Montuno. All right. This is the Montuno. All right. They got the white shirt with the pants, with the hat on. This is a Montuno. So, you got to look up these things, man. You know what I'm saying? You see where your people are dwelling at in these last days. These are you can clearly tell this man right here is a Panamanian. Jacob here be like, that's a black man. No.
Yeah. Or Big Judah.
Yeah. Not everybody's Judah, man. All right. Let's just get that misconception out the way. Not everybody is Judah, man. All right. And you got a lot of dark-skinned Central Americans, Panamanians, man, Hondurans. All right. They're not black. They're Hebrew Israelites, man. You got women. There you go. You got the Montuno and La Polera. And we also got this too. What was that one? Man.
You talking about
the dance?
The dance, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Panamanian culture. The tamborito is the national song and dance of Panama. The dance is a romantic couples dance, often involving a small percussion ensemble, and in all versions, a female chorus. The tamborito is performed in formal costumes, the polera and the montuno, in front of large interactive crowds that form a large circle around the performers.
You can get that in a lot of movies too. Esau want to try to, take on the culture and dance and stuff, but they get that from them, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Their culture, their dance. All right, going over there, eating off the land and, taking the money. You know how it is.
I'm glad you said that because, you got a lot of terrors over there. You got Esau came over there. You know how he get down, man. So you got a lot of terrors, just like you got a lot of terrors up here. All right. So, but we get into our people, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So we just gonna go on to the next tribe. The main thing with Zebulon is the haven of the ships, which is the Panama Canal, built in 1914. All right. Before you had the 7 different countries, Central America was known as the Republic of Central America, and that was from 19. I think. Hold on. Let me get it, man. From 18, it was the Federal Republic of Central America from 1823 to 1900, and before that, they were all joined together. And Guatemala, all right, in Central America, is the most populous country of all the countries in Central America. So we're just gonna go back to. Let me get on the screen. We're gonna go into the tribe of Asher. Okay. Go ahead, Ray, bro.
Okay. This is Genesis 49 and verse 20. It reads, out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. And the word Asher goes into Ashar, which means happy. And if you see that group of people, they're always what? They're uplifting, they're always smiling, they're always happy, joking around, things towards that nature.
What was that precept again?
Genesis 49 and verse 20.
Yeah, 20.
I'll reread it. This is Genesis 49 and verse 20. It reads, out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties.
All right, so we're going to get some words right quick. We're going to get bread, which is lakama in the Hebrew, H3899. All right, lakama. And it says bread, food, grain, bread, corn, food in general. Now, we had an article pulled up. Like I said, we got a lot of articles, so just bear with us.
Yeah, because it was known for what? That mass production of bread, oils, gems,
Yes, sir.
Corn.
So you can read this, bro.
This is Brazil, number 6. It reads, Brazil, a federal republic comprised of 44 states. It's the largest Latin American country, covering an area of 8,500. Oh, Slovakia.
Damn, that's a big ass
number. That's a big ass number. Well, you guys see the number. Continuing on, it reads, Brazil has a population of 15,840,000 people. 15
million. It's probably more than that.
Yeah, because it says right here, 1991.
Yeah.
Well, we're in so-called 2022. So, yeah, it reads a low population density of 18 per kilometers and a rather high annual production. Population growth rate of 25%. So, yeah, it had to go up, between now and then. It reads, at present, there is very little pressure on agricultural land. The availability of adequate rainfall and the fertile nature of its land make the country ideal for agriculture.
Because you got the Amazon rainforest, man. That's the majority of the country, man.
Yep. Well, and then that Deuteronomy goes more into that land too. You want me to get it?
We'll continue on with this.
It reads, the major agricultural products include sugarcane, corn,
like
cassava, soybean, oranges, coffee, cotton, tobacco, and coca. And they're real big on that coca. And that's what Esau really go down there for. Especially tobacco.
Tobacco, yeah. So Asher is known for large producers of food. All right, we'll go back to another word in here.
Want the word? I got 3 words on here: dainties, fat, and bread.
Yeah, we'll go to dainties.
All
right, dainties is dainties is H4574. My Idan. And it says dainty food delight. So these countries in South America, namely Brazil, are known for the food production. I remember in class, the captain was mentioning that he played a video of like, what was it, 5 million? I know somewhere.
Yeah,
man.
I got it right here. It's 5 million forms, big forms, if that, and then 4.1 million small forms, and that was back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so in so-called 2022, all right, it got to be more.
Yeah, it got to be more. They know for their food, man,
especially in Brazil.
So we'll go back to we'll go to that Deuteronomy 33, like you said.
Okay.
Somebody put up on the screen Deuteronomy 33, because you go to Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33, it'll give you these prophecies concerning the tribes. So there, you got to go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. You got to go upon these precepts to get the understanding of who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 23?
Deuteronomy 33 and 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 33 and verse 24. And of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children.
So yeah, it goes into Brazil has a population of 15 million since 1991. You can only imagine that's going to grow because Asher has a lot of children, just like Ephraim, man.
Yep. Continuing on in verse 24, it reads, let him be acceptable to his brethren and let him dip his foot in oil.
All right, now let's go back to what was that one we had, man?
You talking about the oil production?
Yeah.
Try this tab. Is it not this tab right here?
No, not that one.
Not that one. What? I saw Brazil.
Oh man,
I can read the next verse.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll go to this one. This is the one. Now, this is a lake in Venezuela. It says Lake Maracaibo is one of the world's richest and most centrally located petroleum producing regions. The first production well was drilled in 1917, and the productive area has come to include 65-mile strip along the eastern shore extending to 20 miles out into the lake. Thousands of derricks protrude from the water and many more line the shore, while underwater pipelines transport the petroleum to storage tanks on the land. The lake's basin supplies about 2/3 of the total Venezuelan petroleum output. Most of the industry was developed by foreign, chiefly American, British, and Dutch investment, with very few locally owned wells. Because Esau took his funky ass in there, and you know how he do. He found a resource and he wants to rape it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when we're looking at the video, it was saying, like you said, there's a lot of terrors in that country. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Edomites in there.
Yeah, a lot of Edomites.
A lot of so-called Spaniards in there. All right, they got accustomed to the customs that was going down back then, and their language and everything like that.
Yeah, they had that term, which is a proverb and byword. That word mestizo.
Yeah,
they say it's a term. It's basically say like you're mixed, like you're so-called.
Yeah, they had the percentage. They had all those percentages right there.
You're so-called Colombian, but you got European ancestry. You know, that those proverbs and byword going back to Deuteronomy 28th chapter. But this goes to show his foot is dipped in oil. Venezuela, Brazil. Now, Brazil has overtook Venezuela as far as oil production over the years. And then you got Ecuador. Mm-hmm. They're known for oil production. So this fits biblical prophecy. His foot is dipped in oil. Continue on, bro.
Continuing on in verse 25, it says, thy shoes shall be iron and brass. Mm-hmm. Going back to those minerals.
So it says, going back to this article, Brazil is rich in a variety of natural resources and is the world's leader producer of tin, iron. Now the word iron, what's the Hebrew word for iron? Barzal.
Yep.
All right. Barzal, which means Brazil. Mm-hmm. All right. One. That
was a good point. Yep.
It says tin, iron, ore, and phosphate. It has large deposits of diamonds, manganese, chromium, copper, bauxite, and many other minerals. And it also has, a lot of stones that brothers be rocking, like amethyst, beryl. Yeah, beryl is another one.
Yeah, emeralds,
mm-hmm. Diamonds. So these countries in Central and South America, mainly Brazil, because of the rainforest, they produce these minerals that goes into read that one more time, bro.
Yeah. This is Deuteronomy 33:25. It says, "Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be."
Yeah.
And I remember we was going into that video in class that Gamal put up, and we kept hearing strength, strength. And the lady was going into, if there was an economic collapse, she was basically saying we'll be good because we're one of the largest, oil companies. We got hella minerals, and we have hella food. That's basically what she was like, we'll be good.
Yeah.
But we already know once Yahweh Shah come back, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's the kingdom of heaven.
And as the apostles and elders went to in the breakdown, when it goes into that strength, and it goes into the strength of these these Brazilians that know jiu-jitsu, MMA. Okay, you got Anderson Silva, these Edomites are in MMA. They go down to Brazil to learn jiu-jitsu and MMA. And it started from this family called the Gracies, and they were Scottish people, but they were actually from the tribe of Judah, and they had migrated over to Brazil, and that's how you had that form of a Gracie Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That goes into that strength as well. A lot of these fighters, MMA is strictly known for them guys down there in South America kicking ass, man. So is that it on Asher?
That's it.
Okay, so that's the tribe of Asher. All right, the indigenous people we didn't mention, but let's get on the map. Everything outside in South America, look, everything outside of Chile and Argentina, that's all Asher. Now we're gonna get into Chile and Argentina and Naphtali, but everything outside of Chile and Argentina in South America, that is these countries right here: Peru, Colombia, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. That's Asher. And like the brother said, they're known for being happy.
Yeah, throwing them carnivals and
the carnivals. Yeah, like the apostles and elders mentioned in the breakdown, they get into those royal dainties, those fattening foods that they eat during the carnival, which is basically a festival that they celebrate. Most of our people are going off into that Catholicism. They have these carnivals. It's basically like the Super Bowl of carnivals, because when they had this carnival in Brazil, and it goes up. That's where Esau got the Mardi Gras idea from Carnival. Right, and it goes south of Brazil, and it goes all the way up to Central and the Americas. And basically, it's a daily celebration before Ash Wednesday, before you get into the festival of I believe it's Lent, I believe.
And I got that word royal because we just said royal dainties. Well, this is the word royal on the online Etaman app. All right, it says, I just want to bring out one main point. It reads fit for a king. So they eating a lot of king-like food down there.
Yeah, probably the king's meat.
Yeah, a lot of fair cattle and different types of special cheeses and if you look at some of them, sometimes a lot of them be overweight.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I met a couple of Asherites here in America, man. They big, man, because all they do is talk about food. You be at work, what'd you bring for lunch? What you have for dinner?
Pollo, pupusa.
Yeah, they love pupusas, man. Like if you talk to Asherite, if you can be friends with them if you constantly talk about food and partying, because Colombians, they love to party. Brazilians, all Asherites love the Venezuelans, they love to party, man. They love to have a good time. They love to kick it, just like all of us. But you know Asher, man. You can tell Asher when you see it. They always got that. They be catching pure hell, but they still got that smile on their face.
And it says splendid, magnificent, man. And some of them carnivals, if you see the woman, they be having on fruit basket hats, reaching all the way to the damn heavens. Okay. They be having all types of different exotic fruits on their heads or eating it, But yeah, that was it on that, man.
And I believe last year with the carnival, when they had an image of they showed the true image. They showed that the only begotten son, our Lord Yahweh Shai, was a so-called black man. They didn't have no white Jesus. They didn't have Cesare. They showed it last year in last year's carnivals. But anyways, that's just a side note. We finna get into the tribe of Naphtali. All right. So an acronym that the captain gave us is ZAN. So Z represents Zebulon. We already got to that. The indigenous people from Guatemala to Panama, and we just touched on Asher, the indigenous people from Colombia to Uruguay, all right, including the Venezuelans. All right, now we're gonna get into Asher, all right, and we'll just get into that Genesis.
You mean Naphtali?
Yeah, Naphtali, yeah.
This is Genesis 49 and verse 21. It reads, Naphtali is a hen let loose. It's like it. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words.
All right, now read that again, bro.
This is Genesis 49 and verse 21. It reads, Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words.
All right, Naphtali. Now the Hebrew word is Naphtali. Let's get that right quick. All right. And this is concerning the so-called indigenous people from Chile to Argentina. All right. Now it's pronounced Naphthalia. All right, Naphthalia. Now, when you get to that word, it says wrestling. The sixth son of Jacob and the second by Bilhah, the handmaid of Rachel. That goes to show you can have more than one woman. All right. The tribe descended from Naphtali, the son of Jacob, the Israelites. Okay.
Didn't say wrestling because Naphtali was wrestling in her womb at that time. All right. Just like you see today, certain babies, they be kicking and moving around in the mother's womb, and the mother be like, "Oh, I feel them kicking. Or I feel them moving, doing a lot of movement." You know.
Now, Naphtali is Naphtali is a hind let loose in Genesis 49 and 21. Like I said, we got a lot of tabs pulled up.
With the gauchos.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the gaucho, okay? Because the gaucho, the nomadic and colorful horseman and cowhand of the Argentine and Uruguayan pampas, and it's also in Chile as well, who flourished from the mid-18th to the mid-19th century and has remained a folk hero similarly to the cowboy in the Western North America. So this is the South American version of the cowboy. Says gauchos subsidize largely on meat, and this. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that video that we saw with the gauchos, they had a big old herd of cattle.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying like, we do this, we do this in the wintertime, even though it get cold, we do this. Summertime it gets super hot, but we still do this.
Yeah, they live completely off the land. They ain't got Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. They can't go to Kroger to go get some meat, man. Yeah. They live completely off the land. All right, down there in Argentina and Chile. Here's another definition. A gaucho is a skilled horseman reputed to be brave and unruly. The figure of gaucho is a folk symbol of Argentina, Uruguay, Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil, and the south of Chilean Patagonia. Gauchos became greatly admired and renowned in legend, folklore, and literature, and became an important part of their regional culture tradition. Also, all right, that area of Argentina and Chile, they're known for their wine production. Okay, let's just get this. We're just painting the picture. You know what I'm saying? When you gotta when you read the scriptures, you gotta visualize what the scripture's saying. You know what I'm saying? So some of the best outside of these Eastern European countries like France and Italy and Spain.
Yeah.
Some of the best wines come from Argentina and Chile. We know.
Shoot, we had a wine from, not wine, but it's like a beer that was all the way from Guatemala, man.
Yeah. Some of these exports, whatever. Hey, it's good to check into these things. Like the brother said, the beer or the yayan. It's good. You should just go for the Budweiser. You know what I'm saying? These other drinks in these other countries, they have more flavor and more taste, man. It says Argentina. Let me read it. Argentina and Chile, wines a world apart, and they're right next to each other. Argentina and Chile are geographical neighbors and share a language, but that's about all they have in common. While enjoying the wines of Chile and Argentina, you begin to realize the stark differences in style, flavors, and scent. Let's explore these different differences together. And in terms of the wine industry, Argentina is considered New World. So, like I said, all the wines come from like Spain, France, Italy. It says Chile, on the other hand, is considered Old World. I was already aware of that from tasting the wines from these countries. So seeing it in action when I visited was not a surprise. The Argentinians are all about winemaking methods, marketing as a region. For example, everyone fully promoting Malbec extraction and power. Now, Malbec, like we went to in class, Naphtali is known for wine production and carne asada.
Yep.
Like with the gauchos. Like you look at these videos about Buenos Aires and Santiago, Chile, and all these places. They're already known for their carne asada. What do they wash it down with? In Argentina, they wash it down with this Malbec. Like Malbec is good for food. It ain't good to just sit there and kick it. You know what I'm saying? It's good for like to wash down all that beef they eat.
And it helps break down those fatty acids and fat on the meat as well too.
Yeah.
It helps your stomach process it better.
Yeah. So I mean, we ain't gotta read this whole thing, man. But they have two different types of wines in Chile and Argentina, but they're the same people, man. All right. And there's different wine regions, like in Argentina, you have the Mendoza region. That's a world famous region. All right, so we're gonna get into that last scripture in Genesis. Was Deuteronomy 33 concerning Naphtali?
Deuteronomy 33 and verse. Let me see.
I think it's 23.
Yep. This is Deuteronomy 33 in verse 23. It reads, "And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full of the blessing of the Lord, possesseth thou the west and the south."
All right, so we're gonna go back to the ancient map of Israel. And when you look at the ancient map, all right, as soon as it pulls up, we just had it. All right, when you look at the ancient map, you got Naphtali. That's not the south and the west. I mean, let me see if I can see if I can see it. That looks like northeast. You know what I'm saying? That's not southwest.
Yeah, the south and the west is down here.
It's Judah and Simeon.
Yeah. So what is that talking about? You know, when we was back in Genesis, he gathered all his sons, was telling them future prophecy, meaning you got to look at the modern day map, okay, which the brother about to pull up.
So yeah, the south to the west, Chile and Argentina are in the western hemisphere, and they're the southernmost part of the western hemisphere. Chile and Argentina. That's the indigenous people, all right, of Chile and Argentina. You got this guy from GLCC talking about that's the Hawaiians and the Samoans. No, it's the indigenous people, the Israelites from Chile to Argentina. Possess thou the south to the west. Look on the map. The first southernmost place and the westernmost place is Chile and Argentina, man.
Con.
All right. And could you go back to that Genesis 49? We missed the point.
Let me see. You want me to go back to
Genesis 49:21.
Con. This is on Genesis 49 and verse 21. It reads, Naphtali is a hind let loose.
That we know that's for the gauchos.
Continuing on, it reads, he giveth goodly words.
They give a goodly words. They're known for being really pleasant and really good people. Okay, that's the breakdown on that. So I think that's all we got for Zebulon, Asher, and Naphtali. Like the captain told us, you know, go ahead and look up these different things. You know, go on YouTube and look up these different tribes and look up these different cultures. Like, okay, like for instance, you got Asher, these so-called Colombians. They're into cumbia. Okay, look stuff up like that. The different type of music, the foods. Hey, you, like I said earlier, you might be living in a city, a big metropolitan city, where you can go check out these little bodegas and these little shops, and you can kind of get a feel for your people, man.
Yep.
You know. So you had anything to add?
Man.
So I think we pretty much covered it. We hit Zebulon, all right, the indigenous people from Guatemala to Panama. We hit Asher, the indigenous people from Colombia to Uruguay, and we hit the indigenous people of Chile and Argentina. Naphtali, your boy Lionel Messi, the world famous soccer player, he's from the tribe of Naphtali. All right. So, hey, Lord willing, you know, you got anything to add?
A lot.
So, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying, man. You know, just we just getting back to the basics of the scriptures, man, and identify who our people are. We can't be at camp, and we got to know how to break these things down.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say we have an unction to know all things. So, with that, Lord willing, I was edifying once again. We want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well. And peace, love, and salutation to you, Akim, that's pushing the truth and true sincerity. Till next time, Shalom.
Shalom.